Hello everyone, you're listening to Learn Japanese Pod with me, Alex, and you're listening to the fun Friday edition of the podcast. And if you don't know what that is, this is where we temporarily put away our Japanese textbooks and talk to cool people doing cool things in Japan. And this episode is no exception because we are joined by the amazing, the talented Miku Sensei from Miku Real Japanese. Thank you for coming, Miku Sensei.
Thank you for having me, Alex.
Yay.
I'm so excited.
Me too. Pachi, pachi, pachi. Yeah.
Pachi.
We were talking about doing a podcast together for a long time, but finally the day has come. Yeah.
Yay! そうだね. I've always I'm listening to your podcast when since I was in Mexico. So it's 2 years ago.
Oh wow, no way, really?
Right.
Well, I've been watching your videos, and let me say, I love your videos. They're hilarious, entertaining, they're really educational. I love your teaching style as well. It's really clear, really easy to understand, and I think you explain concepts about the language and culture of Japan really well. So, Miku Sensei, I'd like to say, mukatsuku.
なんでやねん。なんでやねん。Yeah, naturally came out なんでやねん, you know?
If you don't know what nande yanen is in English, how would you translate that in English?
Give me a break, or what are you saying, or
what
the hell, or something like that.
What the hell, dude? Come on. No. But by the way, people, if you haven't heard of Miku Sensei and Miku Real Japanese, you've probably been living in a cave. Go Google it now. Go check out the videos. They're really amazing. So basically today's goal is to get inside Miku's head and ask her lots of questions about what she does, who she is. And we've also got some listener questions. So I emailed all of you lovely Learn Japanese Pod listeners, and I asked you to ask a question to Miku. So we've got some listener questions. And at the end, I thought it would be fun to kind of switch into Japanese mode and then just do some more questions in Japanese. But anyway, so Miku, how are you today? What's going on?
I'm great. めっちゃ元気だよ。
今どこ?
Alex は? 今大阪にいる。
大阪にいる. I'm in Tokyo. I'm good. I'm fine. 絶好調ですよ.
絶好調。
And again, thank you so much for coming on today's podcast. And well, where should we start, Miku Sensei? I don't really know where to start. Perhaps we'll start with, could you tell us a little bit about Miku Real Japanese and what kinds of things do you teach? What kind of things can people learn?
そうですね. Basically, I studied this Real Japanese, Miku Real Japanese when I was in Mexico. So you'll be last year, right? So 2018.
Oh, wow.
I've started, first of all, Instagram account. And I started this because I wanted to teach, real Japanese. The name is Real Japanese, right? So real Japanese, authentic and practical Japanese that we actually use here in Japan. Sometimes there's a gap between textbook Japanese and broken casual Japanese, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Right, you know that because you live in Tokyo.
I'm sure you've heard this a million times, but when I studied Japanese, we studied with very, what would you call it? Just very boring textbooks, 私の名前はアレックスです。趣味はバンジージャンプです。
Bungee jump.
And then you spend all this time learning polite Japanese. And then when you actually come to Japan, you realize that 80% of the Japanese you're learning is actually casual, right?
Yeah, so I'm not really focusing on grammar for example, JLPT exam or business Japanese or really polite Japanese. I'm mainly teaching casual and real Japanese because for me, I learn language as well, I learn English and Spanish. And my focus is to connect with people using language. It's not to pass exam and that's over, right?
Do you ever feel kind of pressure that you should be teaching JLPT? The JLPT seems to be the big gorilla in the room and you have to learn it. Do you ever feel pressure to teach that?
そうだね. In the future, I would like to, it's really important to know where you are by taking the exam. So like, and also if you want to work in Japan, it's kind of important to get the qualification, right?
Sure.
So like, in order to help them have more opportunity to work and to live in Japan, I would love to help with that. But first of all, connection is my motto. So like, I heard this all the time with my friends from the other country. Like, I cannot express myself in Japanese, or I cannot feel connected to Japanese people. And that hit me when I was teaching Japanese in Mexico. Like, of course, it's very important to know how to speak politely, because it's Japanese culture to talk to people politely when you meet first, like, new people. But after that, you have to break the barrier, right? If you want to get closer to that person. That's where I wanted to help. So like, if you are looking to only pass JLPT or learn business Japanese, I might, like, in the future, I might be able to help you. But for now, my focus is, if you want to come to Japan and go to like a local bar and start talking to people, like start making friends, that's where I would like to like help.
I think that's the most useful thing you can learn, actually. That's so awesome. You know, in my first job in Japan, I actually worked on the JET program, and I did 2 years there. And at the end of my 2 years, I talked to my supervisor and I said, what did you think about me as an employee? How did I do, basically? And he goes, アレックスはやっぱり一生懸命頑張っていただきましたが、やっぱりアレックスの日本語がちょっと丁寧すぎるよ。So it's like, your Japanese is too polite. And he actually said that because my Japanese was like way too polite, he actually felt there was more of a distance between us. So even though, you know, I'd studied really hard and I'd learned all the proper textbook Japanese, he felt that there was less of a connection. Yeah, so I wish your videos had been around 1,000,000 years ago when I first came to Japan.
そうだよね。I heard that so many times from my friends that like, I started to Google, you know, I started to see if there are content out there. And, you know, there are some, but I compared to other languages, it was like so like few.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, I thought, I want to do something about it.
All right. No, that's cool. So, why do you think your students want to learn Japanese? Who is your typical student?
そうだね. Like, lots of people are very interested in Japanese culture.
Right.
Like Japanese ways of thinking. And they want to like kind of come to Japan and then immerse themselves in that culture. So like, of course, there are some people who love game とかアニメとか、ね、漫画とかね。でも like, lots of people are interested in Japan. Like, so I would say my students are mostly learning Japanese to live here or to work here.
Right. That's really amazing. Yeah, I've sometimes asked my listeners, you know, why are you interested in Japan? And usually I think the number one answer is culture. Another question, what is your advice for a complete beginner who is new to studying Japanese?
いい質問だね。
難しいね。
そうだね。でも my advice would be, this is very typical, but first of all, it's very important to learn hiragana and katakana, because if you learn them, your pronunciation is gonna be much better than reading alphabet.
Yeah.
Because if you like read alphabet, you would pronounce the way you pronounce in English or in your language. So I know it's the, you know, first biggest wall you have to climb, but I think that's the most important thing. And after that, I would say learn as many verbs as possible. Because like, you might have realized that, but Japanese people don't use as many adjectives as English learners. I mean English speakers. For example, like かわいいとか楽しい、面白い、やばい. But like, English speaker use a lot more adjective I realized.
Mm.
But when we express in Japanese, the verbs becomes very important. So, of course, if it's important to get the balance and then learn nouns, adjective, and other stuff. But verbs, Japanese verbs, is very important.
That's a really interesting point, and I completely agree with you. I think that's really, really good advice. Yeah, definitely verbs are good. I just realized English, we've got too many adjectives, don't we? Like, fantastic, wonderful, amazing, awesome. What do they mean? Very good.
Right.
They mean the same thing.
That's true.
So that's really good advice. Now, the other question I get a lot is from people who've actually been studying Japanese for a while, maybe a couple of years, maybe they've been studying by themselves, maybe they have a Japanese teacher, maybe they've even come to Japan. But the big problem is they hit this plateau, they suddenly feel stuck and they're not improving. And they're getting really frustrated and they don't know what to do next. I know this is a difficult question, but do you have any advice for people who feel stuck with their Japanese?
なるほどね。And I wanted to add something to the previous question.
Sure.
So sorry to change the order, but after learning the verbs, I would say learn Japanese conjugation. Te form, ta form, nai form, dictionary form, mass form, volitional form. Because like I realized that Japanese is like a code combination of verb form and a phrase. For example, たことがあります。たことがあります。I have done something. To talk about experience, right? You need ta form plus ことがあります. Right? So you have to know the ta form before. Right? First of all. And if you know ta form and then you memorize other phrase, you can create another construction.
You think there's like an order in which you should learn them then?
Right. Like if you get the conjugation right, verb conjugation right in the like beginning stage of your process, it's going to be so much easier. That's what I realized with my students. Because if you learn ta form and then if you get used to it, like to the point you don't have to think the conjugation. 食べる食べた. If you think about the ta form of 食べる, it just comes naturally. If you get to the point where you don't have to think, then it's easier to construct another grammar construction. For example, たことがあります. You know ta form already. You can say, okay, ta form plus 方がいいです. It's better to do something. You should do something. た方がいい. So I would say after learning verbs, like it's difficult. This was one of the problems that my students had. And lots of people give up here, actually.
Right.
So like I created verb conjugation shadowing audio for my students.
Great.
And I could see that it was helping with their process so much. Right. So I would say learn verbs and after that, learn conjugation.
Where can people get hold of your shadowing audio amazing stuff?
So I made it my products for my patron.
Right.
So basically you can listen to it while you're doing anything like, exercising or cooking and stuff. And you hear it again and again and again, and you have to say out loud. This is what I realized as well. Like if you just listen to it, you don't memorize. But if you say out loud, you can trick your brain. And then your brain thinks, oh, this is actually important because this person is saying again. So I'm going to put this information into the long-term memory. That's how I realized it. So yeah, if you're interested, you can check out my Patreon page.
Yeah,
sure. Get the products.
What I'll do is I'll put links to everything connected to you on the website for this podcast. And but I mean, we'll talk about this at the end of the podcast too. But just quickly, what's the best way people can find your stuff? Just do Miku Real Japanese Patreon on Google. Is that a good way to find it?
Yeah. You can go onto the Patreon page and then search Miku Real Japanese. You can find it there.
I think I might go buy some myself. Sounds very good. Sounds nice. By the way, that's such a brilliant way of thinking about it because it's so clear. I think a lot of I think one of the biggest problems that beginners of Japanese have is they hit this wall of information and they don't know where to start. Should I start kanji first? Should I start hiragana first? Should I start learning random phrases? But I think the order you did it in, learn the kana, learn hiragana, katakana, to really force you to pronounce it correctly. And then just learning basic conjugation, right? I think that's because you've got tat form and tet form, and those then go on to more complicated grammar structures. So, God, I wish I'd known that when I'd started Japanese.
Yeah. Right. And then your question about how I would say to people who are frustrated, right? And then not making enough progress.
Yeah.
I would like before, as a language learner, I would ask, what is your goal? Why are you learning Japanese and what do you want to do with it? And if we don't know why, we would quit.
Yeah.
So it's important, very, very important that we have a goal to keep up our motivation, right? So whatever it is, it's good, whatever. So for example, if you can plan to come to Japan, buy a ticket and learn before Japanese coming to Japan. Or for example, set the goal for JLPT test as well. Anything is good, but you have a certain goal or image where you want to go with Japanese. So that would be number one tip. And what I realized through learning Spanish and English, because I was struggling so much with those two languages. Like, I was good at grammar. I was okay at grammar, I would say. But I couldn't express myself, and I was so frustrated. So I started to develop my strategy on my own. How can I improve it? How can I express myself better? And I wanted to kind of test, I developed that strategy for myself to break through, and I wanted to test it if I can use that strategy with Japanese learners. That's how I started to teach online. So I had some students, I tested on them. I didn't say that I was testing on them, but I tested on them. And some of them didn't work for some students, but most of them worked so well. And that is, you have to analyze what you're talking in your mother tongue. So for example, if you like to talk about your family, learn how to talk about family in Japanese. If you love to talk about, if you usually talk about work, your passion, your, life, learn specific topic, and then how to say what you usually say in your mother. Most of the time, we don't know what we say when we are talking in our mother tongue. But if we analyze it and know what topic we need to become fluent, because basically, if you can talk about what you talk about in your mother tongue, you can become fluent. You don't have to talk about difficult stuff that you never say in your mother tongue, right? So I would say analyze your native language, what you're talking about and what you want to talk about, and then learn how to talk about topic. That would be my goal, top tip.
I really agree with you, because I find that a lot of people tend to get stuck in their textbook. They think that learning Japanese or any language is just about learning words and phrases and grammar. But it's I think you really hit the nail on the head when you said, what do you want to do with the language? A language is a doing thing. You want to achieve goals. And, it's great to sit down with your flashcards and learn a bunch of grammar and vocabulary, but I think practicing in real life or using it is the best way. So yeah, fantastic advice there, Miku Sensei. I think you may have already answered this, but it's kind of a similar question. But what kind of student makes a lot of progress in Japanese? I'm talking about, their attitude or study habits.
そうだね. I think people who are not afraid to make mistakes. I was very afraid of making mistakes, and some of my students were very afraid to make mistakes. But as soon as I said, みんな大丈夫, 間違えたらもっと上手になる. 間違えた時一番覚えるから when you make mistakes, that's where you learn the most.
I love your videos where you actually teach like that. So, the videos with Rachel, and Rachel is having a conversation with you in Japanese, and she wants to say that she's married. So logically in her brain she says "kekkon shimasu," which doesn't mean that. It means I'm going to get married. And so you say "omedetou gozaimasu," and she said no, "kekkon shimashita."
Right.
But the real thing is, if you want to say that you're married now, you say "kekkon shitemasu," which is like a really good lesson. But the whole lesson is based on a mistake, which is really good. That's very cool.
そうだね。でも、I would say don't be afraid of making mistakes because, I think the most mistakes we make when learning Japanese is particles, right? First of all, wa and ga particles and verb conjugation, as I said, and Japanese tense, like you mentioned. Like 結婚します or 結婚しています or 結婚しました It's a little like subtle difference, right? But it changes everything. But like as long as like you are willing to speak, willing to communicate with people, Japanese people make mistakes as well with Japanese.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
So it's okay to make mistakes. Like start speaking, and as long as you're trying, like Japanese people would listen to you. And then number 2 asset of like people who learn Japanese really well is like そうだね people who found a way to enjoy the process.
Yeah, right.
Right. だから例えばテキストブックね教科書だけで勉強しててもあまり面白くないね。
そう。一番なんか、性格のある素晴らしいテキストでもつまらないテキストだったらもうやめちゃうでしょ。
そう。
飽きちゃうと思う。
そうだね。We get bored of it ね。でも I'd say 例えば if you love traveling, go watch traveling videos in Japanese. If you love anime, it's good. Like lots of people say if you learn Japanese with watching anime, you would end up speaking in a weird way. And to a certain degree, that's true. But I would say like anime is amazing to learn Japanese as well.
Sure.
Like, yeah, as long as you know the difference, like ending particles, sometimes we don't use 例えばかしら. Like 大丈夫かしら? Like female way of saying, is it okay? Do you think it's okay? 大丈夫かしら? Like anime character says a lot, right? Or てめえこの野郎 or something like that.
お前はもう死んでる.
Right.
Sorry, I had to use that.
Yeah, you had to
use
that. You took the chance, ne?
I took the chance, yeah.
Right. But like do something, like learn Japanese doing something you love. If you love cooking, there are so many cooking videos on YouTube in Japanese, right? My recommendation is Terrace House.
Terrace House, yes.
And as long as I say it's a reality TV show, people go, I hate reality TV show, Yeah. But it's a lot different from Western style reality TV show where people go crazy.
It's a drama, but without the drama.
Right.
For example, Terrace House, recently, no one's been dating on Terrace House at all. I mean, they go on dates, but like nothing's happening. They're very timid. But actually, Terrace House is really good to test your Japanese. If you think your Japanese is good, go listen to Terrace House and you'll get an idea of, what did she say? I have absolutely no idea. But the great thing is you can go back and check it again. And it's really, really good listening practice. Yeah. Terrace House.
And then you learn also Japanese culture or Japanese people's behavior. Or what's taboo in Japan and stuff. So if you want to live in Japan, it'd be good to watch that video before coming to Japan.
Right. It's an amazing window into Japanese culture. But by the way, Miku Sensei, who's your favorite character in Terrace House?
そうだね. Guilty Samurai? Have you ever watched it?
No.
Hawaii episode series かな.
Okay, so I'll check that one out. Is it all on Netflix now? Can I see it all?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really interesting as well. No, it's in Hawaii, but like I think half Japanese and Hawaiian people would come, and also, Japanese, like 100% Japanese people would come. And actually, you can see that like cultural difference between Japanese people and half Hawaiian people who grew up in Hawaii. That would be interesting as well. That's interesting to me as well.
That's super interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing just the amount of content you can get now online? I'm so old. I remember Japanese families in London where I live. They used to go to the local video store and they used to rent VHS videos of Japanese TV. That's how old I am, Miku Sensei. Because like in where I lived in North London, there were quite a few Japanese companies, and so the families who lived the employees and their families who lived in London, they obviously needed to get their fix of culture from home, and so there was this small video shop. It was hilarious, and they had all like the Gaman Taikai and all the wide show, and it was all on VHS videos. And now we can get it all online for free, pretty much. It's an amazing world.
It's an amazing, yeah. Use them as much as possible, I think.
Absolutely fascinating answers to my questions, but I have a new challenge here because we're going to do listener questions. As I said, I sent an email out to our listeners saying, if you have a question for Miku Sensei, let me know what it is and I'll ask her. So the first question we got was actually a lot of members were asking the same kind of question, so I just basically put them into the same question. So a big shout out to Ronnie and Jean-Philippe from Belgium. And basically, they want to know is why did you decide to start teaching Japanese to foreigners, and why did you decide to do it online? I think you've already partially answered that before, but let me slightly alter the question. Was there a moment where you were like, right, I want to teach?
Right. So I went to Spain. I was studying Spanish from 18 years old, from the age 18 years old.
Cool.
And I went to Spain when I was 19 years old. And that's when I found that so many people are interested in Japan and Japanese culture. And I started to teach Japanese to my friend.
Right.
And I was like, this is fun. This is so much fun. And I decided to, so I came back to Japan. And I decided to learn how to teach Japanese. And I went to an academy and I got a teaching qualification for that. But
お疲れ様でした。
お疲れ様でした。大変だった。
大変でしょ、なんか。
Yeah, I had no money back then. So I needed to, how to say? Like rent a loan かな? Loan.
Yeah. Get a loan out. So you begged, borrowed and stole the money. もう高くて、辛くて長くてすごい大変だし、僕の友達も日本語の先生もいるから、そういう話したからすごい大変。ご苦労さんです。
そうだね。It was a huge investment.
Wow. Well, it paid off. It paid off.
It paid off, yeah. Luckily.
I can really tell you know what you're talking about. You just from what you've said up until now about learning languages, like, oh, yep, she knows what she's talking about. Yep.
So but I didn't start right away. I didn't start teaching right away. I was like, I think I should perfect my English before. And I worked in a ryokan. Ryokan is traditional Japanese hotel. And I had no money, as I said. I used all my money and then also got a loan to learn how to teach. So I needed to save up money as well. So I went to Hakone, very spontaneous, but I went to Hakone and I started to save up money, but I was attending lots of foreigners there. So I improved my English, and I also was kind of afraid to start doing what I really wanted to do. I was kind of afraid to follow my dream. But yeah, one day I thought I might die. I might die next year. I might die. I can die anytime, and I will regret for the rest of my life if I didn't follow my dream.
Right.
And I was like going through this job offer on the website, and then I don't know why, but I found this job in Mexico.
Oh, wow.
Right, as a Japanese teacher, and I was like, should I go or I shouldn't go? Oh my god! And I have to decide in 1 week because it's
Right.
limited. It was limited, so yeah, I applied for that and I got it, and I went to Mexico,
Where in Mexico were you?
Guadalajara.
Ah, bien, bien. I was in Puerto Escondido and also Oaxaca as well. But that was like
Oh,
10 years ago, a million years ago.
eh.
Wow. Isn't Mexico the most amazing place on earth?
Oh my god, I love people. I love Mexican people. They're
Yeah.
so amazing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I get along so well with like Latinos.
Because I was thinking of this, Osaka is kind of like the Latino area of Japan, or maybe Mexico is the Osaka area of Central America or North
そうか。
America. So North America, I should say. Sorry. Yeah.
そうだね。Me encanta.
See?
Me encanta México. Amo México. Muchísimo. Amo
See?
comida, la gente, el clima.
Ah.
¿Y tú, Alex?
Disculpe, señorita. No recuerdo nada. Just the language. Actually, no. I remember my trip to Mexico really well. But I went to this tiny school and they had this
Right.
terrible textbook, and it was it's kind of like what we were talking about before. I didn't learn any Spanish at all. It was like, hola, hola. ¿Cómo estás usted? Bien. ¿Y tú? Soy el presidente de los Estados Unidos. So it's just completely useless Spanish. And then when I went out on the street, I realized no one said that. They all said, like, ¿Qué onda, güey? ¿Qué tal? So I had
True.
such an awesome time in Mexico. It was amazing. I want to open up the Learn Japanese podcasting office in Oaxaca. It's just so amazing. Anyway, so you in Guadalajara, you on the spur of the moment, you were like, right, screw it, I'm going to Mexico. You got on a plane, and how did it go?
It went really well, and I loved it. I was like, this is
Nice.
it. This is my mission. I found my mission.
Wow, that's so cool. What, Miku Sensei, why are we not living in Mexico? What's wrong with us?
What's wrong with us?
Seriously.
That's true. We should all go to Mexico and then open up this real Japanese pod.
Right, there you go. And then we can speak in Japo Inglés Eñol.
Japoniolish.
Japoniolish. Right. By the way, a huge shout out to all the Mexican listeners of Learn Japanese Pod. ¿Qué tal? Bien. I'm sorry for my horrible non-existent Spanish. I should be able to speak much better than I can.
You tried.
So I tried. So how long were you in Mexico for?
About a year.
Wow.
Yeah, and
So which is better, your English or your Spanish?
Well, I use English more than Spanish. Like nobody speaks Spanish here. Like I need someone to talk to.
Sure.
Yeah, but sometimes I call my Mexican family. Like I found my Mexican family in Mexico, and I talk to them on the phone, and they'll say, "Your Spanish is getting worse. What are you doing?" Yeah.
Well, maybe you could start up a Spanish speaking group or something in Osaka. I'm sure there are people who want to do it. Yeah,
that's true. Latinos in Osaka.
Nice. So let me ask you another listener question, and this is a very simple one, and this is from various members who again basically asked the same question. So a shout out to Ty from Pennsylvania, and a shout out to Joanna from Leicester in the UK. And they ask, what is the most common grammar or vocab error that English speakers make when speaking Japanese?
Yeah, I would say particles are very tricky.
And how can we correct it ourselves? Is there any way?
そうだよね。難しいよね、それね。
そう。
Like, I would say if you can, I like recommend you to get a Japanese teacher.
Yeah, right.
Because
Right.
I would say the conversation is like a tennis, right? It's
Mm.
playing tennis. So like I used to talk in the mirror. When I was studying English and Spanish, I used to talk in the mirror, and then my family was like, "Yeah, she's doing this again." And but it was like it worked to a certain degree,
Right.
right? But I was like, I need feedback.
Right.
I don't know if I'm making mistake or I'm doing it right. So I'd say get a Japanese if you can. There is like italki, you know. So I would say get a Japanese teacher. But if it's difficult for you financially, like I would recommend HelloTalk. It's an app where you
Mm.
can do a language exchange. And there's
Right.
so many Japanese people who want to improve their English.
Mm.
So you can help them, help each other. Yeah, but like have conversation with Japanese people.
So, for people
Mm.
who don't know Hello Talk, I guess this is an online app where you can meet someone and you do a language exchange, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. And then what's the other one? iTalki?
Italki.
iTalki. I haven't used that before. I might road test that myself because I'd like to, I just want to, myself, just for my own practice, I want to speak to more and more Japanese people. So that doing it online would be a very good way for someone lazy like me who can't be bothered to leave my house. Did I tell you I was a hikikomori? I never leave the house.
マジで
Yeah.
引きこもり
I don't have any people skills, Miku Sensei. It's terrible.
I can talk to you. I can
Oh,
talk to you.
please, you'd be the first person who would. So, this leads me on as we were talking about Spain and Mexico before. A good friend of mine, this is a question for a good friend of mine called Matthew, and he actually lives in Machida here in Tokyo. He says, how does being a student of English and Spanish help you teach Japanese?
That's a very, very good question, Matthew.
Deep question. Yeah, I like that
Deep
one.
question. I would say I see the struggle because I used to struggle, right? So when I'm teaching online, first of all, I can be very patient with them and
Right.
very supportive because I know how difficult it is. It's not easy. And also, as I mentioned before, because I needed to find my way to break through in English and Spanish, I know how they can improve Japanese faster. Right? So that's how I think I can lead them to become fluent and
Right.
yeah, become more confident speaking Japanese.
They say when you learn your third language, you learn it more quickly because you've already made mistakes with your second language. Obviously, your first language, you just learnt it naturally. Your second language, you had to consciously learn it. But then by the time you get onto your third language, they say is that true for you?
そうだね。そうだね。
Yeah,
So
right,
I
right.
learned Spanish first.
Oh,
Oh
interesting.
my god, I had so much headache when I was I was like a
Right,
baby, like I
right.
couldn't speak, and that was my very first time I couldn't express myself. And I needed to, I wanted to have friends and connection, and that was very difficult for me.
Miku Sensei, for a person like you, not being able to express yourself must have been torture.
Oh my god, I know. But like I found a way, like, I was like comedian. I was using gesture all the time, very exaggerating
You're using
reactions.
your Osaka humor, your ultimate weapon. Yeah.
So, and then also, I developed my strategy to become fluent in English and Spanish. That's very important thing is that you know how to ask questions. So even though you don't understand 100%, if you know how to ask questions, then you can take the language shower. Like even though you understand 20%, you can carry the conversation with them, and that's how baby learn, right? Like they do input first, they listen first, they do all the input, so they get enough vocabulary and they know enough to express themselves. So I would say first learn questions, lots of questions. What's your job? You know, what's your hobby? That's like simple question is good. And why did you start your business or stuff like that? And keep on asking.
As a Japanese person, do you find it quite challenging to learn European languages? Because we've got all this like annoying grammar. You've got subject verb agreements. We've got future tense. We've got plural and singular. All these things that aren't as well, don't really have them in Japanese. So I always feel that people learning Japanese, we kind of basic Japanese seems to me quite simple, but also making questions in English seems to be quite complicated, right? How is it for Japanese people? You're kind of like, I am, he is, they are, you know, is it hard?
English is easier, but Spanish was harder because, you know, depends on the person. You have to change the conjugation, like yo como, tú comes, él come, y todo eso, something like that. So, and also female and masculine, right? Like this, la mesa, the table is female.
Yes.
But like the floor is suelo. It's masculine, you say? Masculine,
yeah.
right?
Masculine,
right.
Yeah.
Masculine. So that was hard. Then I needed to like start thinking in that language. It was impossible for me to translate from Japanese to English and Japanese to Spanish. So at first I was doing that, but I got to the point where I was like, I cannot translate everything. It's not connected. English and Japanese are not connected.
Right.
So yeah, at some point I was like, I have to think in English. Yeah, and I started to do that.
I never cracked it, but maybe one day if I get back into learning Spanish, I never really cracked verbs. I found them to be very hard, you know, so, you know, present tense and past tense and, you know, verb agreement. And then, you know, saying stupid, you know, learning stupid sentences like perdi mi burro en la montaña, you know, it's just like, it's like all that kind of stuff. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, you know, we got to start a Learn Spanish pod. You and me, Miku Sensei, we're going to do it. We've got to do it.
Let's do it.
Okay, now, Miku Sensei, for the last bit of the show, I thought we'd do a quick fire round, but entirely in Japanese. そしたらよかったらちょっと日本語モードに切り替えましょうか。
わかった。
日本語でちょっと質問させてください。じゃあ、まずですね、ミク先生の出身は大阪ですが、大阪と東京の主な違いは何でしょうか？
ねえ。そうだね。東京に住んだことがないから、
あ、そうか。
東京と大阪の違いはあまりわかんないけど、
東京に住まなくていいよ。
住まなくていい？関東には住んだことあるよ。
あ、本当？どこ？
神奈川県の箱根？
そう、箱根ね。
そうだね。まあ気づいたのは、関東の方が人が静かな気がする。
そうね。じゃあ、というのは次の質問につないでると思うけど、じゃあ、大阪人と東京人の性格は違いますか？お互いにイライラすることもありますか？
東京の人と喧嘩になるけどね。
そうね。
この質問。
そう。
いや、東京の人イライラするとか言ったらめっちゃ喧嘩になるけど、そうだね。さっき言ったのとちょっとね、つながってるけど、大阪人の方がうるさい。
ね、いや、うるさいっていうか、親しみやすいじゃないですか。
そうだね。親しみやすいし、知らない人と話しやすい。そう。なんか気軽に話しかけることができるから、例えば東京の電車に大阪人が乗ってたら、大阪にいるときはいつもみんなすごい話すから、電車でも。まあ人によるけど、私も初めて東京に行ったとき、大阪の友達と東京に行って、めっちゃ喋ってたんだよね、電車で。
初めて大阪に行ったときに、 電車にぎやかだなと思ったら、すごいね、みんな喋ってる。で、東京だと、山手線でも誰も喋ってないよ。すっごい静か。そう。
そう、あんなに人がいるのにめっちゃ静かじゃん。だから、大阪人も、ちょっと静かにしないといけないみたいな感じで、ちょっと静かになるもん。うん。うん。あとね、もうちょっとあるけど、大阪人は結構、友達をバカにするよね。だから、これはね、愛情だと思う。アフェクションだと思う。
そう。
例えば大阪人の友達と一緒に話してるときに、よくもうミクアホやなって言われる。
そう。
アホ means like literal translation is stupid.
But it doesn't kind of like if you called someone stupid in English, they might be offended. But like ahoyana, it's not quite stupid. It's kind of like you.
I love you.
Yeah.
It's just Osaka people's way of saying I love you and you're so funny.
Yeah.
Right,
so or even kind of like なんでやねん, you know.
なんでやねんとか。
そう
だから大阪人の方が結構ダイレクトだと思う。
そう。
だから
率直こと言うよね。
そうだよね。率直にものを言うから、なんか大阪人は知らない間に東京人を傷つけることがあると思う。
そうね。
Because that's ね、愛情表現の仕方が結構ダイレクト、もうアホやな、何してんねん、ほんまに、とか言うから、東京の人びっくりすると思う。初めて大阪の人と話したら。
要するに、東京に引っ越しする人は、東京か大阪に住むか迷ってる人はですね、やっぱり大阪に行ってください。大阪の方がいい。大阪が住みやすい。人が親しみやすい。すぐ友達作れるから。で、本当に大阪の方がいい。
そうだよね。アレックス、東京にも大阪にも住んだことがあるよね。
大阪3年間住んでた。すっごい楽しかった。本当に。
そう。東京って地方からみんな来るじゃん。
そう。
カントリーサイドから。
そう。
だからそのコミュニティは、あるところもね、あるけど、もちろん。でも基本的にコミュニティっていうより、地方の人が集まってるって感じ。だからロンドンとかパリとかと他の国の都市と同じだと思うけど、大阪人、大阪大好きだから、あまり関東に行かないと思う。
そう。
なんかコミュニティがあるんだよね。
だから大阪はですね、大阪人ばっかり。
そう。
東京だとみんな田舎から来た。上京さん、東京へようこそみたいな感じ。でも本当に大阪に行った時超楽しかった。ごめんなさい。めっちゃ楽しかった。よくなんかまた東京に戻った時に、いつもなんかめっちゃなんちゃら言った時に友達、超じゃないですか。
超と言ってください。ここ大阪じゃないから。
ここは大阪じゃないですよ。
誰それ誰のインプレッション
自分の変な日本語のモノマネしてる。
自分のものはね。
ということで、ミク先生の一番好きな大阪弁のフレーズを教えてください。はい、どうぞ。
うわ、難しい。
ね。
難しいな、これは。
そうね。There are so many, right?
Yeah, so many.
Right.
But I would say, かまへん。
かまへん。いいね。かまへん。Well, okay. So for our wonderful listeners, what does かまへん mean?
かまへん is like, it's okay.
Yeah.
So, for example, like, this is funny, quite funny, because かまへん can sound very like patronizing.
Yeah.
Because that's what older people would say to young people. So, for example, like, if I go to a bar, izakaya, with my friend, and then, like, I want to pay, I want to invite them. But I don't want to really, brag about it, So, but I want to make it kind of funny. So I would say, かまへん。私が払うからかまへん。Right. I love that.
Next time you go to Osaka, use かまへん. Now, 次の質問すごい難しいよ。
Go ahead.
Miku Real Japanese の将来の目標は何ですか？次のステージは何ですか？
Wow. Big question. そうだね。私もまだまだ勉強中なので、これからもっと努力したいですね。例えば、どうしたらもっと楽しく、もっと簡単に日本語が学べるのかを勉強したい。それでもっとたくさんの日本語学習者、日本語勉強してる人たちの助けになりたいね。多分ね、日本語を学べる機会があまりないと思うんだよね。もし学校に行ってなかったら。だから、まあ、インターネットがあるから、今は。だから、世界中の人が日本語を学べる機会、チャンスを作りたいから、これからもっと動画を作っていきます。あとね、日本語だけじゃなくて、日本文化も紹介したい。
それは、まあ、なんていう日本語でちょっとわからないけど、日本語を流暢に話せるのは大切だけじゃなくて、cultural fluency。ということがいいよね。なんか、I really wanted to do like a cultural fluency course or something like that. Maybe your Japanese is amazing, but you're acting really horribly around Japanese people. You need to improve your cultural fluency. こういったコースをちょっと作りたかったなと思った。
それめっちゃいいアイディアだと思う。
ところで、まあ、by the way、まあ、ミック先生とアレックスの目標は大体同じなので、
マジで
将来にコラボしようよ。
めっちゃコラボしたい。今日めっちゃ楽しいもん、これ。
超楽しかった。本当に今日のインタビューは今年で最高、一番楽しかった。
うわ、嬉しい。
ということで、ミク先生はこのポッドキャストを聞いてる皆さんに何か伝えたいことありますか？
そうだね。まず、はじめに、日本語を勉強してくれて本当にありがとうございますっていうことですよね。みんなが日本とか日本に興味を持ってくれることは、日本人としてめっちゃ本当に純粋に嬉しいし、感謝してるし、みんなのおかげでこの仕事ができてるから、ねえ、恩返しできるように頑張ります。恩返しちょっと難しいかな。恩 means gratitude とか kindness。blessing, on. And then 返します means to give back. So 恩返しします is to give back the gratitude or give back the service. ね、恩返しできるように頑張ります。
Miku Sensei, thank you so much for today's interview. I had so much fun talking to you.
Me
and
too.
I'm so glad we finally got together because we were talking about this for a while. Just to end off the podcast, I would say, Miku Sensei, where can people find you online?
Basically, you can find me on YouTube. My YouTube name is Miku Real Japanese in alphabet. And same on Instagram. So it's Miku _ real _ Japanese. And I'm most active on those two. Yeah, so if you are looking to learn real, authentic, and practical Japanese with me, yeah, come on, join me. And let's learn Japanese together.
Seriously, people, check out Miku Sensei's videos. They're educational, they're hilarious, and you're going to learn a lot of really natural Japanese, not like my horrible textbooks. So definitely check out her amazing stuff. By the way, Miku Sensei, I've just realized that this is the last podcast of the year and the decade. For the 20 teens from 2010.
Wow, I'm so honored. すごい.
Yeah, so we definitely ended on a high note. What did you think of 2010 to 2019? How was it for you? Pretty good?
Pretty good and lots of change. It was like jet coaster.
It's been like a really crazy jet coaster just globally, you know, politics has become a disaster. Social media made everyone angry and shouty. And we've got fake news. We've got all these horrible things. But, you know, melon pan exists.
Melon
There's melon pan, and we both live in Japan, and life is good. So I'm glad we can experience and share these crazy experiences together. So thank you very much, Miku Sensei, and minasan, thank you very much for listening to the podcast. That's it for today. Thank you very much for listening to the podcast. Ami Sensei and I will be back in the new year, in a new decade, with new podcasts. So if I don't speak to any of you before, have a wonderful Christmas and a wonderful new year. Take care, rest, get ready for the next decade. It's probably going to be really crazy too. But I look forward to making more podcasts. And Miku Sensei, let's hang out again.
Yeah, for sure. 約束です。
So thank you, everyone. See you next time. Bye.
またね。